Hello everybody, thank you for joining me again today. Now today we are going to make this really cute envelope box, and it's done specifically, if I just show you, to match, remember these that we made the other day? A lovely little post-it note cover with the bells and the Christmas card, and it all matches to make a cute little gift. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to make these today. My other videos for these two are already on YouTube if you just want to have a look through the list of videos that I've done, and you'll see both of these. But today we're going to concentrate on this little lovely to put it in so that you've got a perfect gift to give to somebody. Alright, okay, let's get going then. Let me just move those over there. Right. Now, the first thing you are going to need is a piece of basic black cardstock. Now, I've already cut this cardstock down, and I can't remember what size it is. Hang on, let me just measure it on my grid paper. I think it's 10 1/4. Yeah, it is. Oh, that was a good start, wasn't it? It's 10 1/4 by 10 1/4. Okay, so 10 1/4 by 10 1/4. And what we're going to do, we are going to be using our envelope punch board today. Let's pop that down there. Pull out your score thing that goes in your end, like that. All right. Just need to stand up so I can see what I'm doing. Now, the first punch you want to do is lining the edge of your card up with the number 4. Can you see that properly? Yeah, I think you can, can't you? So, line it up with number 4. And punch. Now you can already see, I think, yes, the card goes off the board, so be very careful when you do these first score lines, because you don't want to go too far or you'll squish straight off the edge of your board and you might end up damaging your card. All right, so line up at 4, punch, score, move along. So your card is now at 4 7/8. Hang on, just need to look around the tripod to make sure I've lined it up properly. There we go, 4 7/8. Punch again and score. Again, be careful you don't shoot off the end because it overlaps still. All right. The next thing you need to do is turn it 180 degrees. Now, usually when you're using an envelope punch board to make your envelopes, you would turn it 90 degrees, but I want you to turn it right the way round this time, okay? And do the same again. So we're lining up at 4, we're going to punch, and we're going to score, and we're going to go along to 4 7/8, which I think is there. That's it. We're going to punch and we're going to score again. All right. Now, what I would advise you do next, just move those bits out of the way, before we actually do the other score lines, is fold these score lines that you've already done, but so that you can line it up properly for the next lot of score lines. Okay, so just turn over, give them a bit of burnishing, because we will be lining our score lines up on the punch, so we need to make sure that we can actually get right the way to the end of those score lines so we can line up properly. All right, so there we are. I can actually see them now. Okay, see those? So I've gone right the way across now. Right, back in with your envelope punch board, and this time we are going to start. What way are we going to start? I can't remember what way I'm starting now. Hang on, I've gone all around the wrong way. A minute. No, I'm still around the wrong way. I'll get there in a second. There we go. I've been there already, haven't I? I put it round that way just a minute ago. Oh, never mind. Right, you don't need to worry about where this end's going this time. We just need to be looking at our score lines that we've already made. All right, so your first score line, line it up with that little bit that sticks out. Can you see that? Whoops, let's pick it up. All right, can you see? So I've lined up that little pokey bit with my score line. All right, so line it up with that, punch, And this time you can score right the way across, because you can see we've got a bit of the board hanging out. Move over to your next score line, do the same again. Punch and score. Turn it 180 degrees, just like last time. Line up with the score line that you've already done on the other side, and punch and score it. And the same again, go to the next score line that you've done, punch, score it. All right, move those bits out of the way. Whoops, that's it. Now, turn your envelope punch board up the other way, because we're going to be using the little notchy, no, it's not a notch, is it? It's a corner rounder, this bit here. And just put every one of those pointy corners in to make them nice and rounded. There we go. There's the last one. All right, get your bits out of the way so they don't end up all over the place. Right, so that's it for our envelope punch board. So we can move that out of the way now, which means for me I throw it in a drawer, as you probably just heard the crash. Right, now set it down again. With your scissors, we've now got these little squares on the end. You just need to cut them so that they make a tab. Now, somebody said to me once, does it really matter what way you cut the tabs? Well, on the whole, no it doesn't. But when you're doing envelope boxes like this, yes it does, because you don't want it so that when you folded it up, that tab is going upwards. Because if it's going upwards, it could very well catch on the card or whatever it is you're putting into the envelope. So you want it to go across the bottom. All right, so we need to go and cut straight up so that our bottom edge, this bit here, hasn't got a tab on it. All right, do that on both sides. And oops, just pop a little notch in there as well, like that, you see, just so that it will actually fold in properly. Because otherwise, if you look at this one, can you see there's no gap? That might make it bulge slightly. It might not, but why risk it? Cut it off. It's not needed anyway, so who cares? Right, turn up the other way, do exactly the same thing. But this time it doesn't matter too much if you don't notch it. I suggest you do though, because if you look at the shape of those tabs, they've got that little pointy bit on them, so I usually just nip that bit off, just for neatness really, more than anything else. Like so. One there, one there. Oh, that wasn't very straight. Hang on, let me do that one again. Do you know what? Lovely and sunny outside this morning. We had a big storm last night, loads of wind, and it was really sunny. So I thought, right, get everything ready to start filming. And what happens? The clouds come. So I'm hoping we're not going to end up really, really dark. I'm hoping you're still going to be able to see what's going on. Let me just move my map a bit because it's a bit squiffy. There we go, that's it. Right, now we need to decorate our lovely box. Oh, and we also need, I nearly forgot, we need to burnish. Where's my bone folder? There it is, that's a nice messy one. We need to just burnish those final score lines. Forgot to do that, didn't I? Sorry about that. Right, let's just burnish those in. There we go, that's better. Okay, now, what I've done with this one, as you can see, I've put some lovely Winter Wonderland designer series paper on the outside to match the card that we've already done. And I've also put some on the inside because I just wanted to sort of just brighten the inside up a little bit because, well, I wanted it to look nice, I suppose. I didn't, yeah, that's really the only reason why I did it. I just wanted it to look pretty. So that's what I've done. And on the back, as you can see, I've only done the top triangle and the bottom triangle. Only because cutting triangles to fit on triangles is really difficult. So I thought, well, it looks lovely like that. Leave it like that. So to decorate then, first thing, let's do the inside. I have cut the sort of spotty splattery looking designer series paper, and I've cut this to measure 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So the actual card that we made was 7 by 5. The inside of the box, obviously, 7 by 5. So I've just gone in by 1/4 of an inch. All right, and I'm just going to put some tape on those incredibly bizarre antlers, which I have no idea why Stampin' Up thought that was a good one to do this year. But I've got to admit, when I actually started looking in the shops, there seems to be rather a lot of antlers everywhere. Nah, I don't like them. Sorry, I just had to have a little think there, because you know, sometimes you look at something first of all and you think, oh no, I really don't like that, but then it's almost like the more you look at it, the more you like it. Doesn't work with me and antlers, just doesn't go. Right, to do this triangle, this one here, I cut a square, I'll show you on this one, a square of designer series paper. Now obviously I've done it the same one as this one, hence it's here. And this square measures 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. So 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and then I just cut it across the middle. Easy peasy. That's all I did with it. Put the rounded edge through the rounder on the envelope punch board so that I had the same, what's it called? It's probably got some special name. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the same roundness as that roundness because I wanted it to match. And then I was done. Now, something I did discover, which is actually quite obvious, is when you're putting triangles on, it's very difficult to get right into that corner without getting your snail or your double-sided tape everywhere. So I've just done it on my backing sheet because, I mean, let's face it, that's what the backing sheet's there for. It's there to work on, to help you work. But, oh, come off, come off, come off. That happens, you see. And you can end up sticking everything to it that you don't want to stick to it. So use a bit of scrap paper or something. It's probably a much better idea. Now, which end is folding under? I know it's this end that's going to be inside because I cut the notches out. So I'm going to stick this up here, just on that bit there. All right, so that's now the inside of my envelope is done, and I'm going to do the same on the outside. So turn it over, same size, but this time I'm going for this lovely crackle glaze effect. And same as before, this one measures 6 3/4. Oops, I'm getting in a mess with my snail. 6 3/4 by, what was it I said? 4 3/4. That was it. Oops. That's why I'm getting in a mess with my snail, because I'm not concentrating, and I've got it on there again. Oh, quick, come off, come off, come off. If you rub it off really fast, it comes off. Or you could also use one of these really weird looking but very, very good adhesive removers. Right, yeah, stick this on. So let's put that in place. There we go. That's that one on. Now, my other square, again, 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Now, this one, I've just realised I haven't cut in half. So, just bring in my trimmer. I'm just going to line up my corners with the groove on my trimmer. Like that. And slice it in half. And then, there's my punch board. There it is. I'm just going to put that end back through the envelope punch. Whoopsie daisy, messed that one up, didn't I? Just pop that back in. There we go. Just to round those corners off again. Now this time I am going to get some scratch paper. If I can find a piece. There we go. Because as this is on the outside, I really do want to make sure that this is going to stick really well. So I'm going right off that corner there to make sure it does go on. And that one. There. That's better, isn't it? Now, oh, I've just got to get it off again. Hang on. There we go. Whoop. That's it. Just smooth out those edges where you've gone over the edge of the designer series paper, just to make sure it's all stuck around the right way. Pop that one on. There we go. That'll do. And then do the same again with your other piece. Right, into that corner there. I had to go silent there because I was concentrating. I'm not very good at talking and concentrating. I tend to get in a muddle or a mess. So sometimes if I do go silent, it's only because I'm thinking. There's nothing wrong with your sound or anything like that. Right, move that out of the way before I stick something to it. Put this round the other side, so opposite to what you've just done. Stick that one on. There we go. Right, so now we have covered backwards, back and inside. No, inside and outside. That's what I was trying to say. We've covered the inside and the outside. So now we can actually look to sticking it together again to properly. So grab your glue, little dob there and a little dob there. Now, because this is a box, you need to just be a little bit careful when you fold your sizing, which is why I've only done this bit, these two tabs first, because when you fold it in, you need to make sure, hang on, let me stand up again. You need to make sure, good job I did stand up because I was right out the camera, that you have got that edge, see that edge there? Make sure that's nice and flush. If it's out, in too far or out too far, you're not going to get a nice shape. You're going to get a squiffy shape. So just squeeze it. I've got my fingers inside there. Look, I'm just squeezing it together just to get that corner stuck. Now, luckily or lovingly, or however you want to call it, Tombow, my saviour in all things gluing, has a real fast tackiness, so you can still reposition things, but not for very long. It's not as squidgy as standard acrylic glue, PVA glue I mean. With PVA you can stick something down and pull it off and stick it down and pull it off and stick it down for a good 5 minutes. Tombow you can't, so it's really, really good because it holds exactly where you want it to hold. And you can still do other things and work around it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Right, there we go. So I've lined up my two ends there. Now I can actually go ahead. Whoops. See what I mean? Ooh, sticking. I'm trying to pull it back so that you can see it, but not pull it back so far that it actually comes apart. Right, I'm just going to put a thin line just on the inside there and just spread it out very slightly because you don't want it to swidge onto the inside of your box. That's a little bit pointless. So just a thin line, don't go too mad. Remember, it's very, very sticky. Spread it out a bit. There we go. And then fold it round, and what I would suggest is fold it over and just fold in your other end as well at the same time before you put any pressure anywhere, because as you can see I've got corners sticking out, so I know I just need to go in just a little bit more on both sides to actually get it lined up properly. And if you do it very gently, you can just squeeze it in. You don't want to go in too far, otherwise, like I said before, you end up with a funny shape. So you have to be a little bit gentle. But once you're in place, I think, was that one went, didn't it? Yeah, that one's held. Once you're in place, just open your flap up again. And then just very gently put your hand in. Now do it gently, because if you ram your hand in there, you're going to find you're going to move it out of line. So just gently put your hand in. Now I can do this quite easy because I've got small hands. If you've got bigger hands, you might find it a bit easier to put a ruler in there. There we go. Oh, I'm slightly out. Did you see that? So I can just slide it a little bit further. There we go. It's gone back in again. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Right, so that's the box bit done. Now we're going to do a band that goes around for the decoration. All right. You will need some gold ribbon. Make sure you have enough gold ribbon to go round your box with just a little bit of a crossover. I don't know, ½ an inch or so, a little bit more, dependent on how much overlap you like to go for. Some people like more, some people are really, 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 really careful and only have a tiny, tiny overlap. I can't work with tiny, tiny overlaps. I get in too much of a mess. Right, so we have a piece of ribbon. You will also need a piece of gold foil card. Now this measures 2 inches by 4.5 inches. You will need a scallop tag top punch, and we are going to pop it in there and punch both ends like that. All right, get rid of your bits, don't need those. And what we're actually going to be doing with these is we are going to feed them, or feed the ribbon rather, through the ends of a label, scallop, plate thing, whatever you want to call it, so that we've actually made a ribbon slider in effect. All right, so the ribbon's gone through, the ends have gone overlapping each other, and I've got my ribbon slider. Now what I don't want to happen is for these ends obviously to come out, so we need to stick them. And I did have somewhere some of my red tape. I thought I had a real wide one out, so maybe I can't see it on my desk. Never mind. There was hardly any left on that roll anyway. Right, but I'm just going to use this because this red stuff, well, it's not actually red, obviously it's clear, but it's got a red cover on it. It is really, really strong. And because it's so strong, it makes it ideal for sticking ribbon together. So, oh, you can also stick your fingers together. Look, like that. Isn't that clever? So, make sure you've got your ribbon in the right place. You could even, if you wanted to, stick that bit of ribbon, that bit there, you could even stick that down first before you go for this other one, whatever you fancy. But the point is you need to join those 2 pieces of ribbon. Like so. All right. Now, keep that join roughly in the middle. Doesn't need to be exactly in the middle, just roughly in the middle. And then another piece of card. This piece measures, I know it's 1.5 inches, 3.25, was it? Yes, 3.25 inches by 1.5 inches. And this is the panel that's going here so that you can write the person's name on that you're actually giving it to. So again, we're going to use our envelope punch board to round off those corners. Oops. Like this. There you go, all done. And we're going to stick it onto there. Now, how you stick it, yeah, sorry, I was just suddenly thought there, oh, have I got the right measurements? When I stuck the other one on, when I stuck this one on, I actually used Tombow. But if I'm honest, I didn't like it too much because it sort of wiggled about too much. So I'm actually going to go for some more of, that was too wide, isn't it? I'm going to use some more of this red tape. I've got tons of this stuff. I love it, absolutely love it. It's the stickiest sticky tape you can get. I'm sure it is. Right, so I'm just going to pop some along there. In fact, I'd say the only thing I don't like about this tape is you can't actually tear it. But then I suppose the answer to that is, well, use some of the tear tape. Yeah, right. Oh, I've got a bit of fluff stuck in the edge of that bit. Hang on. Get off. That's it. Right. Stuck my 2 pieces of double-sided tape on. Pulled off the red bit. And I'm just going to stick that over the middle. Now, you probably saw there, I only put it on the edges. I didn't put it across. The reason I didn't put it across is because I wanted to make sure it didn't squeeze that ribbon too much, because if it squeezes it too much, you're going to end up with some pretty icky looking shapes going on. So I just did it on the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to put that in the center. I hope. I can't see it too well, but I hope that's the center. Is it there? Is that? Oh, hang on, let me stand up again. It makes life much easier, doesn't it? About there, isn't it? There we go. There. I can stick that on there and it's going to stick immediately. Like that. There you go. You see? Isn't that great? Alright, so we've popped that one on. The next thing we are going to put on is our snowflake, which I have already stuck some of the lovely gold glitter on it. Super shiny gold glitter. And I've also got a piece of gold sequin trim, which maybe that's a little bit too long, but never mind, it's near enough where I want it to be. So the first thing I'm going to do is stick that onto the back of my snowflake. If you fold your sequin trim in half and find the one that sticks out at the top, and then you can just, when you've worked out what way round it's got to go, stick it straight onto one of your glue dots. There we go. Stick it onto the back. I'm going to put a little bit more tape over that so that it sticks nicely. Sticks nicely to my little whatchamacallit, envelope box. There we go, that's it. Pop that on there. I've got to try and get that back enough. There we are. That was it. That was easier than I thought it was going to be then. Right, so bringing our box back in. Just pop it up onto the corner. Where's the tape? Oh, it's that way around, isn't it? There we go. So just pop it up onto your corner. Like that. Trim it to the right length that you want. Oh, there you go. Now I'm covered in glitter. Oh well, it's all part of Christmas, isn't it, glitter? It's all to do with Christmas. Right, now the last thing I'm going to pop on is one of these super duper iced embellishments. And the real great thing with these iced embellishments, which I'm so pleased about because they really are so very pretty, the great thing is they're being carried over. So you're still going to be able to get them. When the new catalogue comes out, they're going to be in there. Yay! Because they're really pretty. There we go. Oh, a bit squiffy. Go on, get in there. That's it. So there we have it. There is our box to match our lovely little present and card. Now, one thing I will say, just so that you are aware, when you pop your post-it note holder and your card into the box, because it's got bells on it, it does stick out slightly. There is a slight bulge, but to be honest, it's absolutely fine. I won't worry about it. If you don't want it to be like that, you just need to make your box very slightly deeper, or leave your bells off, really, whatever you choose. But if I show you what I mean, if we turn over, let me just open it. You could take the ribbon on and off as you use it, or you could do what I've just done and just leave it on there and just slot your flap in. So let's pop those in. Oops, try not to catch the card there. There. Can you see it sort of bulges out a bit? It's only a little bit, don't worry about it. I've done it like that so that if you do decide that you want to put bells on, it will fit. If you don't want to put bells on, it's still going to fit. Whichever way you look at it, it will fit. Which is always a bonus, isn't it? So there you have it. There's a lovely gift box to match that beautiful card that we made the other day and the really cute notebook cover. No, post-it notebook cover. That's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you had fun if you made your card and you've made your post-it note cover as well. Post-it note cover. Post-it notepad. Post-it notepad cover. That's what it should be called, isn't it? Post-it notepad cover. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. There are our 2 boxes all ready to go. What are we doing next? Oh, I know what we're doing next. Next one is going to be another card and a post-it note cover, but completely different style. So pop back in a couple of days and you'll be able to see that one as well. All right, take care everybody. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. If you'd like to order any of these bits and pieces needed to make any of these, just drop me a line, lee@thecraftyspark.co.uk, or you can just order online straight through my website, www.thecraftyspark.co.uk. And I will see you again very soon. Bye.